I heard a creator say this morning that the problem with evangelical Christians is that in the Christian story, they see themselves as God and not followers of Christ. And she goes on to explain that is why they have no problem with taking over land, because they see themselves as God, as if it is their God given right, their birthright, to overtake, to come in and pillage, to decimate, to destroy, to slaughter people. And I started thinking back on my own personal experience. Now, this is not anybody else's experience. I did a video on this a couple of months back where someone asked, what's the difference between black Christians and white Christians? Like, why were black people not fleeced by 47? And in that video, I said that most times when I am in a black church, they are teaching a lot from the Gospels. They pick up the epistles, the major and minor prophets from the Old Testament. They will speak of wisdom from Solomon or from the Psalms, Proverbs. But in the black church, it is really a hands and feet kind of thing. This is how you live your life because this is how Christ lived his life. And that has not been my experience in white churches. And thinking about this time in our country and what we are dealing with, I think she's right. I think she's right. I think that the difference is some people see themselves in the Christian story not as followers, but as the authority. They see themselves as if they are the creator and not the creation. And that is a problem. Because I've said before, I have to distinguish now when somebody says, oh, what do you... Yes, I'm a believer in Christ because I cannot associate myself with people who spew hatred and racism, bigotry, misogyny. I don't want to confuse people when I say that I am a Christian. I have to denote what type of Christian that I am. I read the red letters and believe them type Christian, and not the despise the immigrant and leave the poor to starve to death and don't provide health care for anyone type Christian. Because there's a difference. And I don't want to be associated with those who would do everything that is antithetical to what Christ would do. But that example that I heard this morning, I haven't let it go. It's hours later. And I've thought about it over and over again. When I'm thinking about history, when I'm thinking about the books that I'm reading, and I'm reading a book right now called When Affirmative Action Was White. I'll have to do a book review when I finish, but I'm thinking about how history shows us that people have used religion as their authority for whatever they want to do that is wrong. We've seen it used as an authority for slavery or for coming in to this land, pillaging the resources, slaughtering the natives. We have seen it as a foundational part of some of the most dehumanizing legislation that we've ever seen. We have seen Republicans join hands in Congress and pray and then vote to strip millions of people from their health care, vote to pull food out of starving children's mouths, vote to ensure that hospitals will close, vote to kick elders out of nursing homes, disabled people out of their nursing homes, vote to ensure that people are homeless because they've cut housing assistance, all in the name of Christ. They don't see themselves as followers of Christ. In the story, they see themselves as God. And that is not a good thing. That's not good at all. Anyway, y'all have a good night.